Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today I'm just going to share with you guys another watch that, for my Invicta lovers, yes, it is an Invicta, you guys have seen this watch before. And if you've been collecting Invictas as long as I have, you have this watch. You probably have multiple versions of this watch. But this is an important watch for me, and I haven't reviewed it for over probably 5 years. I reviewed it once back with my iPad or my iPod or whatever I was using back then. And now that I've taken the step to get a better camera with a better mic and actually a tripod, I wanted to come back and just re-review it. You know, this is a special watch for me, and this is the watch that started my Invicta obsession and my passion for the brand. And, you know, I don't know why I waited so long to pull the trigger on this. I think maybe it was price back in the day. I think that I just, you know, prior to getting this watch, I just think that I wouldn't spend $300 on a watch. You know, I had a bunch of watches in my collection, but not like I have nowadays. And this is kind of what sparked, for you guys who like to watch me do my reviews, this kind of sparked my passion for showing this stuff off and reviewing it. And I remember one video, and before I got this watch, it was a helpful video in just allowing me to pull the trigger on it. And, you know, I saw tons of pictures of this watch. I looked at it on the internet. I looked at high resolution shots of it, and it just wasn't enough to push me. I probably hem and hawed for about a year. And, you know, until I finally got it, and I was blown away when I picked the watch up and took it out of the box and felt it. I was just blown away at the quality you get with Invicta and the amount of steel that you get with Invicta. The weight, the build quality, it really is exceptional. And for you guys who love the Invicta brand, you guys will agree with me. For you other folks who don't, you guys will, you know, it's just not your thing, and that's okay. But I just was blown away when I received this watch. And this one here is the Invicta Venom watch. Now you guys have all seen this watch if you've been collecting Invictas for a while. This is made in so many different executions and color combinations. I mean, you name it, this watch is made. But this is the very first one that I got, and I could not believe it when I pulled it out of the box. Now, I think I paid about $320 for this one here, and I wanted something all silver. And the reason behind this and why I waited so long was I want to show you the watch. This was my very first, or my favorite watch, not my very first watch, my favorite watch in my collection for a very long time. When I wore this on my wrist, I knew that I was going to have the biggest watch around, and it just would draw attention, and people would ask me about it, and I could start, you know, telling them about my passion and stuff like that. And I love sharing this stuff with you guys, with people in general. And so this is the watch right here, the Diesel watch. And this is the one that I remember going into Macy's and seeing this watch on display, and it was like $380 in there, and I was like, no way am I spending $380 for a watch. And I finally was able to get it when the price came down to about $280 on eBay. And this was my go-to forever. And this one here is, I'm not sure if it's actually called anything, but let's see what they have on the case back. Yeah, this is back when they started. This is one of their first models they made that was now they make tons of different huge models. But this was the first one that did it for me. And this is, I mean, it says only the brave on it, but this watch here was my go-to. It was huge, and nobody had seen a watch this big. And I've always liked big and flashy things. And this watch was just, this one did it for me. And I liked it so much I almost got a black one. And the measurement on this here at the bezel is, if we don't include anything else, looking at about 58 millimeters. So that was a big watch. And I think what probably, man, it's crazy. It just brings back memories, this thing. Look at this thing here. Just huge. Diesel makes a big watch too, but I think the reason I kind of hem and hawed for so long on getting the Venom was because it wasn't as big. And I was like, gosh, you know, I don't really want to, it's a 52 millimeter watch. You know, do I really want to spend that on that watch? I don't know if I'm going to like it. And what really helped me is kind of what I do for you guys. I saw one guy reviewing a watch, an Invicta watch that was a similar size, and he was smaller than me, had smaller wrists, but he just reviewed this watch, talked about how cool it was, how much he liked it, and it was really helpful to see it on the wrist because I was like, wow, that's what the 52 millimeter looks like on a guy that size. And I just knew I had to give it a try. So I went ahead and got this bad boy here. And since then, the rest is history. I've been addicted to the Invicta watch buzz, the Invicta watches for a long time now, well over 5 years. This thing is, No issues whatsoever. Of course, the battery did go in this here, which is unfortunate. So I will eventually replace the battery, but this one just kind of sits in my safe a lot of times. I don't really wear this one so much anymore because I have so many different ones to wear. But and I honestly kind of forget about it. So I wanted to come back today and just re-review this watch and show you what it looks like on the wrist. Now, prior to getting this, my go-to, and I'm going to show you guys something here because this is what, you know, I always had jewelry and I always had watches as a young guy, my 17, 18, 19. But this one here, and this one, this one here, guys, this is what I used to wear back in the day. This is your Jacob & Company watch, all right? You know, your 5 time zone style watch, all iced out. You know, I mean, just I mean, look at this mofo. I mean, you know, I don't really wear stuff like this anymore. You know, and these things back in the day, like, these weren't cheap, you know. But as far as size is concerned, this used to be big. And if you had one of these on your wrist, this is 48 millimeters at the bezel. If you were wearing one of these, people looked at you and were like, wow, that is a big timepiece. And now you put it on the wrist, and it's like the size of a grand diver, for God's sakes, you know? I mean, it's not big anymore, you know? And so I think that once I got the diesel watch, that's why I kind of never went back to the smaller ones, even though nowadays, because I review so many watches, I receive samples from companies, I do wear those and I share those, and now I kind of have more of an appreciation for even the smaller stuff as well. But this is the watch that started it, the Invicta buzz. And, you know, Invicta will probably always be my favorite brand. So, all right, well, that's my story on how I got involved in Invicta watches. So let's just talk about it. This one here, again, Invicta sometimes makes different model numbers that look the same. Sometimes they'll have a different movement. Sometimes the face will be a little different with that movement. I would consider this your all silver on silver stainless steel. And this one here I've seen in several different model numbers. But so you guys know, this one here, the model number is on this here, if I can find it, the 5730. And I'm going to try to get some close-ups for you guys, because you guys always tell me I don't get enough close-ups, so I want to do my best to appease. Just, I mean, if you don't, you know, I don't, you know, and maybe you're not, you know, maybe you haven't started collecting Invicta watches, or you haven't bought a Invicta watch. I was blown away at how heavy this was when I pulled it out of the box. I remember, like I said, the first time I got it, and, you know, we desensitize. You know, now I get Invicta watch, I'm still excited, but this was the first one where I was like, holy cow, I never wore a watch this heavy. At just about a pound, about 22 millimeters in case thickness. It is just a chunk of steel. Beautiful bezel on it. This is one of Invicta's first watches, I think, that really kind of set them aside and really kind of threw them on the map with their just huge over the top dive style watches. Now, some of you guys might say, you know, that Invicta watches are not true dive pieces. You know, I mean, I think Invicta watches for me kind of between the line of I don't think the term fashion watches is a bad term. I think that any watch is considered a fashion watch, but I just, like I've said in plenty of my videos, and if you're new to this channel, Invicta gives you the best quality for the amount of money. And, you know, Invicta, one of my subscribers, he's fantastic, and he said it best the other day. He says that you can get watches that are good quality, and a lot of the watches that are you know, smaller, they're dive style watches, they're not going to be as big as this, because Invicta kind of sets themselves apart with doing this huge over the top styled watch. And this may not be for you, and that's okay. But I personally love the big chunky watches. And, you know, there's brands, if this was another brand, this would be $800. Invicta just gives you such a value for what you're getting, $300. And this was a lot at the time, because now the popularity has grown so much. I mean, you can get, and again, like I said before, a lot of times you'll get a better value based on what they decide to put sales on and how many pieces there are out there. This one here, 5730, you probably won't find, but you'll probably find something similar, just in a different model number. But if you were to try to find this, it would probably be a lot more money, because there's not a lot of them out there. Just like any of the other Invicta watches, it's all about supply and demand. And so I think that's a lot of times why companies put a giant MSRP on there, because if you want it and you can't get it, people are willing to pay it sometimes. But I picked up the all gold version of this for like $230, which is, I mean, just a spectacular deal. And when you compare this to a diesel watch, and not saying I don't like the diesel watch, but, and I'm not saying weight is everything, but when you feel the build between these two, this is a much bigger watch. This thing outweighs this by almost twice as much. And that's a lot of steel involved in producing something like this. I mean, the band is thicker. Everything about it is just bigger and beefier and just way more well made. I mean, it's just, it's not, it's amazing what they give you for your money. And there are so many different Venom watches out there. If silver's not your thing, I reviewed another one in gold. I have the mirror polished gold, the gold bezel I picked up because I love the two-tone. But this is always going to be one of my most favorite Invictas because it's the first one that started it all. I'll try to get a little closer there. Hopefully you can see that. So once again, the 5730, a little bit about it. You know, you guys know I never really get too involved in movements, stuff like that. Invicta uses movements that are, they don't make their own movements. They use movements that are either by Ronda or Seiko. Some of the higher end ones use the higher end movements like the Solitas. You can find the Val's U7750s, but primarily Invicta uses in a lot of their reserve line watches the Swiss made Ronda movement. And Ronda makes, it's a very well known, very reliable quartz movement that is used in a lot of different watches out there, and a lot of watches that are 3, 4, 5 times the price use that movement. And you know, you may not ever even realize that until you actually start to look around and shop and see what movements are in these watches. A lot of companies out there don't even list the movement and they're charging $400 or $500 for a watch. I have watches sent to me as samples, and without naming the names, a lot of them I love, but I've had a few that it's like they're using just around the movement as well, and they're, for a basic watch, it's nothing to really write home about. They're charging $500 for it, where you can get something like this where anybody who picks this up will say, wow, that is a substantial timepiece. And if you don't see that, you're lying. Whether you like it or not, you can feel this watch. You can feel the quality of this watch. I'm telling you right now, guys, if you haven't got an Invicta watch, get one in your collection. Now, you may not like something this large, and this is a big timepiece. So if you've been wearing a watch that's, you know, your standard size 44 millimeter, I would say is probably your standard size men's watch, this might be a little much for you to jump up to. It's going to be heavy. You're going to feel it on your wrist. If you're not used to it, it may not be for you. But I encourage you, if you can locally, you know, sometimes you'll find some Invictas in some of your jewelry stores in the mall. I know they have a few, but the price is just way too much for them. I don't recommend buying there. I recommend always buying through my links. Or if you have a website you really like to shop with, you know, go with them. Be a smart shopper as always. Anyway, the watch is powered by a Swiss-made Ronda movement. This one does have 3,300, I believe. Is it 1,000 meters of water resistance, which I believe is 3,300 feet. Now, I've never tested these watches, and I don't dive. And let's face it, most of you guys out there who are divers really probably wouldn't wear this diving. I mean, why would you risk it? The guys I've talked to who dive, they would be like, I would never wear my Rolex or wear a nice dive watch diving because there's coral, there's rocks, all kind of things you can do to scratch it and hurt your watch. Most guys who buy a watch who are going to dive, they buy something electronic because it's part of diving, you know, like a electronic dive watch showing all your readings and your depth. But you might have some people who do dive with a watch like this. I can't speak on whether or not, you know, this will last to that, but that is what the manufacturer recommends, or not recommends, but this is what the manufacturer has rated this watch for water resistance. I know one guy had told me that he took it to have the battery change and they put it on a pressure tester, and the pressure tester, this actually broke the pressure tester. That's what he told me. I don't know if that's true or not, but I guess maybe it wasn't rated for the amount of pressure. I don't know anything about that, but nonetheless, it's a very substantial timepiece. And if you are, like I said, if you are an Invicta collector and you don't have a Venom, get one in your collection. You'll be very happy with it. As far as measurements on this here, 52 millimeters on case diameter, and of course 22 millimeters in case thickness. The watch is very comfortable because it kind of drops down at the end of the case right there, so it does wrap around your wrist nicely. And of course, unidirectional bezel. But let's face it, guys. If you're an Invicta lover, most people buy a watch because it looks good. Use it to accessorize with an outfit. There are, you know, the watch connoisseurs or the snobs, I call them. But you know, not all of them are snobs. If you're more of a guy who is more into the, I guess the the art, I would call it, producing a fine handmade movement, then naturally you're not going to buy a watch like this. This is for the guy who loves something big, impressive, nice looking, and of great quality for an amazing price. I mean, this watch right here, I mean, $300. Compare this to one of your diesel watches. Hold these in your hand side by side, and you're gonna feel the difference. I mean, just not the diss on the diesel. I think it's a nice looking watch too, but it's amazing the quality you get. So without further ado, I'd like to show you guys what it looks like on the wrist. Again, I'm about 5'7.5". I have about a 7-inch wrist, so again, all these watches look really big on me, and a 52mm watch is no exception. What I love about the Venom watch is just that it's got a really nice thickness to it, where, you know, there's a lot of different Invicta watches made, some of which are larger in diameter, but this watch has a thickness to it that a lot of the Invictas don't have. And when you start getting involved in thickness like this, the only other watches they make that are comparable, I mean, I'm sure I'm going to forget a few, but like your Sea Hunters are nice and thick. They're 23mm, and they're huge diameter as well. You guys know one of my favorite ones is the Sea Hunter. Another great watch is the Grand Arsenal, although that's about 19-20mm of thickness. So you're getting a watch that really has a nice high wrist presence, really thick, and just, I mean, definitely an attention getter, if that's what you're going for. I love the band on the Venoms too. I mean, just they're known for that style band. Now this watch, they do make one called the Venom 2, and the only difference with that one, and I did a review on that, and I actually ended up selling it because I wanted to get the hybrid, and the hybrid's the one that uses the band and case off the what is it, the Sub-Aqua Specialty, and it uses the bezel off the Venom 2 and the case off the Specialty, and the Noma 5 pushers and lugs. And this one here, I have to tell you, if I had to choose between having this Venom, because I already have this Venom, oh, this is very special to me, but I have this Venom already in gold. I wish this one had the bezel from the 2. And like I said, I ended up selling that watch, but I'm glad it went to somebody who, you know, definitely wanted it, because I wanted the hybrid more. So let me get a little closer here. Now let's get back a little so you guys can see it. Now, folks, I hope the lighting looks good in this. I mean, I'm at my wit's ends here. I'm using a Canon, just because some of you guys might know a lot more about recording here, but I'm using a wide-angle lens on a Canon camcorder. It's an HD HFR 800 with a shotgun mic that I got off eBay. That's one of the inexpensive shotgun mics that came pretty highly rated. And I got 200 LEDs in front of me, lights on behind me, although they are, you know, like the purple color. 2 big windows, it's a bright sunny day out, and I have my bathroom light on full blast over there. So I really hope this one turns out better and more clear. Other than that, I don't know what else to do. That was my spiel on my camera problems. Alright guys, well, you know, I know I didn't give you a lot of information about the watch itself, but 5730 is the model number. I'll put links in description if this is available, you can get it. I'll also put a link in description where you just find maybe comparable models in this color combination in the Venom. Guys, tell me what you guys think about the video. I'm looking for feedback on the video quality, as I've been saying for a while now. And man, I mean, if you have any experience with this watch, go ahead and drop a comment on there. Subscribe to the channel, as I always say, almost at 100 subscribers. So my goal here is to get to, and I think we'll get there, up to that 10,000 mark. That's going to be a great milestone. It's been a lot of fun sharing this stuff with you guys. You know, and I just want to say, you know, again, a lot of times when I put up a video, a lot of different people look at my videos, and of the amount of views I get on all my videos, guys, you know, I get about 140,000 views per month on all my videos, and I only have about 9,000 subscribers. So most of my views come from people stumbling on the channel, new folks, new views. Not everybody subscribes, which I wish they did. But, you know, remember, sometimes when I put up a video, one guy commented the other day and he said, hey, you know, you're flying off the handle talking about the watch snobs. Guys, this is a review channel. And, you know, I know sometimes that I may put up a video that might be a little controversial, but the idea in that is to get people talking, share their experiences, sometimes, you know, you get the guys who hate Invicta watches and they say stuff. And as long as you're doing it in a positive manner, I have no problem posting the comment. But if you're just going to come on and be like, this brand sucks, then it's not going to get posted. If you're going to come on and be disrespectful, one guy was making fun of my shirt. All right, I'll be honest. 4 people made fun of my shirt. I like my shirt. What are you going to make fun of the shirt for? It's ridiculous. It just shows your level of intelligence, guys. So, but yeah, I will put up videos sometimes that are just discussion videos. And, you know, if I put up a couple videos, you know, here and there that are discussion videos about a topic, sharing my experience, what people say to me, sharing it with you guys. Guys, I have 525 videos. I mean, check out the other ones too. All right, folks. Thanks again for watching. Remember, subscribe, click like, click the bell to be notified anytime I upload a new video. And if you want to make a purchase, please do it through my links. It always does help to support the channel. If you have a site you like to go to and purchase, you know, or better, and you prefer going there, that's fine too. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. All right, folks. Thanks again. Have a good day.